dead. And he's like, we gotta go, get your gun. That's out here looking for Bigfoot. Why are we leaving? And he's like, oh, big man, you can have the camera going right back down there. I'll sit here and truck back on you.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Paranormal Portal Podcast. I'm your host, Brent Thomas. Thank you all for joining us, and special thank you goes out to all of you who continue to support the podcast and continue to spread the word. Always remember, if any of you out there have experiences of your own that you'd like to share, feel free to email me at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. Again, paranormalportalradio@gmail.com, and you too could be a guest on the show. Stacy Brown of Outkast Paranormal, who is joining us to have a talk about the incredible journey of his life and all of the research and stuff, such that all of us are well aware of. But thanks for making the time for us, brother.
Oh, hey, I appreciate you having me, bud.
Yeah, it's a pleasure because I've heard your name ever since I really started getting into the Bigfoot subject, the Skunkape.
Right.
It was your father that caught that incredible thermal?
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. That was amazing.
I would love to say it was me. I mean, I was there.
Yeah.
But I didn't even know what happened.
Yeah.
I just know he started panicking.
Oh, so he actually knew it as it was happening?
Oh, he seen it. And he was looking through the FLIR and seen it cross. And then the camera goes dead. And he's like, we gotta go, get your gun. And like, I had never seen my dad shook like that.
Yeah.
And so like, my mind is going to a cat.
Right.
A big cat. And that's what I'm scared of in the woods. Not scared of, but that's what I'm constantly cautious about, because big cats are like little cats.
Yeah.
They hide under the furniture and wait for you to walk by and they jump out and get your foot. You know what I mean? Except they weigh 150 pounds or 250 pounds, depending on the cat, 600 pounds, and it's a little bit harder to shake those off, so. Yeah. But yeah, so he, I didn't see that till after we tore down the camp and got back to the truck. I was able to watch it and I was like, we're out here looking for Bigfoot. Why are we leaving? And he's like, oh, big man, you can have the camera going right back down there. I'll sit here and truck wait on you. I was like, no, I'm good. I was still scared of him at that point. So
sure, right. Well, now you kind of grew up in this, is that right? I mean, all of this.
My dad was into because we had shows like Unsolved Mysteries. There was a show called Sightings that had the guy from Star Trek Next Generation. Mm-hmm. He hosted that. So they did a lot of aliens, ghosts, Elvis Presley sightings. All kinds of oddities, and so I got to watch that growing up, and then there was a Skunkape episode, and I was like, they're in Florida? And I was like, these Bigfoots are in Florida? And so then immediately, I'm looking for Bigfoot in the woods around this isolated neighborhood I lived in. Okay. So like the county I live in, it will always be 75% forest. It's protected lands, right?
Oh, very nice.
And even back then, it was more like, okay, so today is probably 85% forest.
Okay.
Back then, it was probably like 95% forest.
Wow.
Yeah, so when I tell you isolated, most of the roads were dirt. Like, this place was in the middle of nowhere. Our neighborhood, probably this big, like, maybe a mile, 2 mile, it had to be at least 2 miles, circle, 10 homes on it.
10 homes in 2 miles.
And just woods everywhere. And then the middle school, like the junior high, was right there at the end of the neighborhood. Why they put it out in the middle of nowhere? It was close to the high school because the high school was on 98. You go down, but this neighborhood is just tucked off in the middle of the forest. And so my dad taught like a martial arts class.
Okay.
Right. So after he got out of the Rangers, he taught that stuff. He taught self-defense, things like that. And so I had access to weapons, nunchucks, all that stuff.
Sure.
So he had a Panasonic, one of these shoulder VHS cameras.
Oh, I remember those, yeah.
And so I'm 6, 7 years old. Got my buddies, my sister, and we all got these weapons and video camera, and we're out in the woods looking for Bigfoot.
Oh, wow.
And we'd hear something, and then we'd all come running out. We would run as fast as we could, and it was more or less a game. You know what I mean? But we had fun, didn't pay it no mind. You know, years later, after I did Bigfoot bounty, I actually got 2 reports from that neighborhood. So maybe we did encounter a Bigfoot at a time. But so, you know, life went on. I was really into sports, really into football. I decided to do wrestling because my neighbor was on the wrestling team. He's like, come on, man, it'll be fun. I didn't want to wrestle, but I was lanky, which was good. Yeah. Good to be lanky in wrestling. And so I was like really good at it. It's like I took to it like a fish to water. Oh, nice. It's like over 6 years I lost 2 matches. Wow. Right?
That's a good run.
Yeah. And so I did that, and then ended up somewhere around the middle school here in Nirvana, here in Nevermind. And I was like, that's me.
That's you.
That's me. Now, so like my whole family is in country music. Oh. Right, I got 12 members of my family in the Country Music Hall of Fame. Wow. My grandmother was either 1954 or 1955, but she was Country Music Woman of the Year. Same year, Elvis Presley was Country Music Man of the Year. So they did a duet at the Grand Ole Opry. Oh, wow. Like I got photos, all that stuff, right? That's super amazing. Cool. But I was kind of the black sheep. You know what I mean? I was playing grunge rock. But as with anything I put my mind to and focused on a lot, we became good. Mm-hmm. Playing out, we were in high school, 10th grade, playing the college bars. Oh, you know, we were on the radio, stuff like that. And we toured with bands that would come through the region, so like Saliva. We'd opened up for Nickelback at one point. This was like before Nickelback was Nickelback. Right. Okay. Right. I mean, they were still, like they had some song on, I think, Blair Witch 2 soundtrack at the time, and they had maybe one other song, but this was way before they like blew up, right? So I can't claim that. This was in a club that held like 600 people. Sure. You know, so, but it was cool because we were in high school and we were playing these shows. They're playing this on the local radio stations. Mm-hmm. And so by the time I'm 20, we're drawing 500 people. Wow. Nice. Right? So like, we keep doing it. Music's my life. Bigfoot is a thing. I'm still interested in it. Still watching the videos. I get cracked on by my band and my friends. Because I'm like, oh, I gotta see this Bigfoot video. You know, I fell for the Rick Dyer hoax. Oh, you know, coffee. But anyways, so fast forward, I have kids, still pushing my music, and Finding Bigfoot comes on. Right. So the first episode was Georgia, second episode was Florida. They have a lady that has a handprint on the inside of her door. Okay? Mm-hmm. Well, they put her name on the screen. And back then, most of your listeners probably don't even know what this is, but we had this thing called a phone book. Yeah. Right? So I looked her name up in the white pages. Because in the white pages, they put people's names, and the yellow pages was businesses. Yeah. So I looked it up, and there she was. Oh, nice. I was like, okay. Cold call. Right. And I rang her up. I was like, hey, can we come out there and camp? See what's going on? She was really worried. It was summertime. And she was like, well, wait till November because of snakes. Oh. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to argue with her. Like, I literally grew up in a swamp. Right. You know what I mean? Like, we catch the snakes, we kill the snakes, we eat the snakes, snakes, the gators, none of that bothered me. Sure. So my dad gets, we went on a trip with the BFRO. Okay. Mm-hmm. Took him for his birthday. In September. Went to the Blue Ridge Mountains, and he was having trouble keeping up. right? It turns out he had bladder cancer, right? So he was getting surgery and all of that, and they ended up, he couldn't go with me. So my bass player went, and we go to the property. Immediately coming down the road, this big black thing steps into the wood line. It's in the tree line, then it just steps in. So we like slam on the brakes. I'm like, dude, you see that? He's like, bro, what was that? And so like, get up the truck and you can just hear this thing running down. I'm like, bud, that's gotta be a hog or something. We're psyching ourselves out. Yeah. You know, get back in the truck, ride on up, meet her. They drive us around the property, show us everything. Bigfoot was seen there, Bigfoot was seen there, yada, yada, yada. And she takes us to this point where we're going to camp. She drops us out, and she's like, okay, just an FYI, you know, the first people to camp out here.
Oh, ever, yeah?
Ever.
Oh, jeez.
Now, the BFRO have been investigating this area for 7 years and never camped overnight.
Oh, man.
Right?
That's an investment.
To me, it was like, it kind of floored me because Bigfoot's a mostly nocturnal animal. Right? I think we can all agree on that.
Yep.
Why are you not out there at night?
Right.
It's because you're scared of the dark.
Sure.
I was born in the dark. I'm sure I'm going to die in the dark. Right? Dark is my friend.
Yeah.
Right? And so I wasn't scared of the dark. I should have been scared of the dark. Okay? Yeah. I should have respected the dark. But I get complacent with myself because I think at this time I can live off the land. Like, I'm seriously, at least in Florida, in my area, you can pull the plug on everything. Stacy's going to be fine.
Sure.
Right? I can fish, I can hunt. You know, I know what food to eat, what plants to eat and stuff like that. I know what does what.
Yeah.
So when you get to that level of comfortability, so when you mess up, right? It's like Roy Jones. Remember Roy Jones, right?
No.
The boxer, Roy Jones Jr., the boxer.
Oh, yeah.
Dude was Superman.
Yeah.
Whooping everybody.
That's right.
When I seen him get knocked out, he shouldn't have done it. He got comfortable. Yep. He got complacent. You know what I mean? He always thought that it was going to be there. And so we're walking around up on this hill. We're sitting down, and I had bought this little thermal, the kind that you look at like wires with.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't have much money. And so we're sitting on this ridge where she had showed us these little tree structures. Now, most people think tree structures, they think huge tree structures. Honestly, me, myself, have never seen these huge tree structures.
Oh, okay.
I've seen the knee-high ones.
Yeah.
The little ones, right? And maybe there are big, huge tree structures that are not naturally occurring, but I haven't seen them. Right. So we sit there, and it's November, so the hickory nuts are falling out of the trees. And me and him sitting on the hill, and we start noticing that, well, I noticed, I was like, that one just fell uphill.
Oh.
And he's like, what? And I'm like, hold on a second, but something ain't right.
Yeah.
And then right between us,
really
bouncing up the hill. Oh. So I get the thermal out of my bag, I scan it. There's a tree right across the ravine. It's about big around as $50, right? And there's this huge heat signature behind it.
Oh, jeez.
So we're like, oh my God, right? So we get up and we head back to camp. So to explain to you where we were on this hill. There's a loop on top of the hill, and then it went down, and to get back to our camp was about a 1.5 mile walk.
Oh,
right?
Wow.
However, I didn't know it at the time, but if you just walk 2 hills over, you would be at our camp.
Oh.
So you can take 40 minutes to walk it, or you can take 5. So what did this thing do? It just went to our camp.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So we're hearing stuff. around the base of this hill. We're like camped up on top, and all around us, well, I would say from your 3 o'clock to your 10 o'clock position was all downhill, steep 75-foot drop.
Oh.
Right behind us is like a road. It comes in, it's flat, and it's like planted pines. Okay, so we're hearing this thing walk around, right? And so I'm like, still not, trying to psych myself out, but I'm hearing walking. And it's November, so the leaves are all on the ground. They're dead, they're crunchy.
Yeah.
And an armadillo will sound, in all fairness, will sound like a bipedal person.
Oh, well, okay. I didn't know that.
So,
okay.
I was thinking it was armadillos. Because I would shine the light on the tree to where I last heard the noise. And I'd hold it. And I'd wait. And I was like, I'm talking at this point because I'm getting a little frazzled. I'm like, I'm going to wait you out. And I'm holding that light for minutes. And I'm like, you're stupid. Turn the light off. As soon as I get back up onto the flat ground where we're camped, starts walking again. This continues to happen. Like this thing is waiting me out.
Yeah.
So then we get in conversation around the fire, and completely forget. Next thing, we're sitting here. We hear like you ever seen Friday Next Friday?
I don't think so.
No? Okay. Well, I won't use that analogy then. Anyways, it sounded like snoring.
Oh, really?
Like a deep breathing. And I turned and looked, and there's this thing standing right at the edge of the firelight.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wow.
Right? So it sits there and looks at us. We're looking at it, and it turns around and walks off. And I look over at my buddy, and he's like, oh, jeez. Right? But there wasn't no words spoken. It was just like, we're both kind of in shock.
Yeah.
And so then it starts smacking on trees. And there's some grunts. It doesn't know what we're doing there. Like first people camp.
Yeah, nobody's ever been there before.
First people to be out there at dark, especially around midnight. And so then, now in all fairness, there were 2 tents, but we slept in the same tent. 2 grown men.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Right? I'm just saying, this wasn't no Brokeback Bigfoot. This was simply like, hey, bud, this thing will rip us to pieces. We're debating leaving, right? But it's my buddy Matt's car, and he's been drinking.
Sure.
It's probably not the best thing to do.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna hang out. I got a Ruger 44 Magnum, Ruger Red Hawk, nickel plated, shiny, nice, huge pistol. The reason I bought the pistol is because it was big. If I ran out of bullets, I could beat somebody to death with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we get in the tent. Actually, he went to sleep before me. I was sitting on the cooler, and I'm trying not to go to sleep. Right? Because I'm like, I don't want to go to sleep here. I'll sleep tomorrow during the daytime. I'm nodding off, and so I end up going to sleep, setting up, and I wake up falling off the cooler. You're going out there, you're leaving gifting. I put a bowl on the forest floor, and the Bigfoot comes and takes it. We just sit there. But I'm going to have this wrapped up in like 6 months. So somewhere in the middle of the night, 4 o'clock in the morning, something like that, I'll wake up to Matt screaming as loud as he can. I open my eyes. The tent is like, the top of the tent is like 6 inches away.
Oh my God.
Matt heard it walking around the tent. And then the best I can figure is that the thing knew we were in the tent.
Yeah.
But it didn't know what the tent was.
Right.
So it's pressing down the top of the tent and then letting it up, and pressing down the top of the tent and letting it up. It actually broke one of the poles of the tent.
Wow.
So he screams. I've got my gun right here, and I don't even think to pull it.
Yeah.
And then you hear the thing run off. It runs off in the woods. It sounds like somebody drove an S10 straight through the woods. Just right off through it. And then he's like, dude, we can't do this. We can't do this. I'm like, calm down. We got to stay, clear-headed here. This is for real. I said, whatever it is, it just ran away. He said, but it ain't going to go. It ain't going to leave. And he's like, at first light, he's like, let's go get in the truck. Well, we can sleep there for a few hours. And I said, no. I don't want to wake up and that thing be looking at me through the window. Like, I can take it being on the other side of the tent because I can't see it.
Yeah.
But I'm so scared.
Yeah.
Like, I am terrified.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like, this is I'm thinking I'm about to have to start shooting. That we might die.
Yeah.
Because the thing, the thing people don't realize, they fantasize these Bigfoot encounters. Mm-hmm. Oh, it was beautiful. He just was graceful and walked off. And you didn't see a Bigfoot if that was or something seriously wrong with your brain. Okay, so we all view the chimpanzees, we all view the gorillas, things like that, but we view it from outside the enclosure. Yeah. We are in the ape enclosure right now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what's running through my head.
Yeah.
This thing, like the thing we just saw, rip both of us apart. And this 44 Magnum is not going to do nothing.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to save 2 bullets so we can kill ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, I was scared. And so, it gets light, I go back to sleep. Right? I catch up maybe an hour. Don't know how long it was. I come out, and Matt's like, let's go get something to eat. So we ride 12 miles into Chattahoochee to a Hardee's. And I didn't say nothing the whole time. I order our food, still haven't talked. Besides, hey, let's go get something to eat. And we're sitting there at the table, and he goes, well, they didn't get us. You want to stay another night?
Really?
And I was like, I don't know. And let me process. And so then I call my dad. Mm-hmm. Tell him what happened. And he goes, son, you have been looking for Bigfoot your whole life.
Yeah.
You finally found him, and now you're wanting to leave. Mm-hmm. And so he didn't mean this, but he did say it. He said, if you come home, I'm going to punch you in the face. Right? And I was like, all right, I'll stay another night.
Oh, good. Okay.
So we spend the day walking around. We don't tell the property owner what happened.
Okay. Yeah.
Still under the impression, or under the hope, that they're messing with us and they have this really good suit. You know what I mean?
Right.
I wasn't drunk. Like, I didn't drink at all that night. Matt, on the other hand, did have some beers. But he always had beers. You know what I'm saying? Just that guy. Yeah. We're camping. I got cold beer. You know what I mean? So, we're finding weird tree breaks, these little structures all over the place. Get back there, camp, we're cooking, darkness falls again. Starts all back up again.
Wow.
It's back.
Right.
He's been there the whole day.
Wow.
Nothing ever changed. He never went nowhere. He's probably been watching us. Like,
right.
What in the world are these people doing?
Yeah.
I'm getting to the point to where I'm like tired of it. Right? And I'm like, leave us alone. Screaming at this thing. Right? And it's grunting. Smacking trees and stuff. And then you shine the light and you can't see it. Right? He ends up doing this call at around 11:30. And he wasn't here in the parking lot. So maybe 40 yards. He's just down the hill, right? He's right here. Yeah. And then the worst possible thing that could ever happen happened. Another one replied to him.
Oh, so you weren't on that.
Yeah, but it was further off, maybe half mile.
Right.
And that's a guess.
Sure.
Could have been closer, could have been further.
Mm-hmm.
Replied back the same exact call.
Oh.
And then just like, you ever had like the blood rush out of your head? You feel like you're about to pass out?
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I don't know what's going on. But nothing else happened.
Really? Okay.
It went away. for some reason. Or maybe it didn't went away. It just shut up.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, but I assumed when they called, and hindsight, I think he headed to that one and left us alone.
Okay.
Maybe they made a kill or something like that. I immediately become fascinated. I come home and tell my wife. I'm like, I'm telling my dad. I'm like, hey, we actually saw a Bigfoot. Yeah. They're real. Like, I can find this thing. Mm-hmm. I can hunt and kill this thing. Mm-hmm. I get on BigfootForums.com. Facebook really wasn't a thing. And I look at the Bigfoot community from a non-Bigfooter's perspective, looking at it for what it is. Mm-hmm. And it's a bunch of derelicts. Mm-hmm. They're fighting. They're arguing. They're stupid. They're extremely stupid. Like, they don't realize certain things that a normal hunter should know, right? These people are going out in the woods and forget the Sasquatch. You guys are in danger because you don't know what's going on. You're going out here, you're leaving gifting. I'll put a bowl on the forest floor and the Bigfoot comes and takes it. We just sit there and we don't carry guns because they can smell the gunpowder and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, okay, hey, bud, I'm going to have this wrapped up in like 6 months. These guys are slow. Yeah. I don't know if any of them's ever spent time in the woods. Mm-hmm. But I seen the thing and I can hunt. Now, there's people who hunt far better than me. But if I know there's an 8-point buck in the area, I can kill him. Mm-hmm. I can go track him, find him, kill him. So I'm like, hey, this is going to be over with. We're going to make a discovery. Yeah. And it changed my life. I quit my band. Mm-hmm. And we had success. We were getting there. You know what I mean? Like, I was making $12,000 a year playing my own songs.
Wow. Nice.
And that was my cut.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right? And the 4-piece band. Yeah. So we're making money. Why would you quit now? Yeah. And nobody's going to remember that regional act, even if we became big. Yeah. Let's say we became big as Nirvana. Mm-hmm. That's not something that's probably ever going to happen, first of all. But if it does, nobody's going to remember you in 100 years. But if you discovered a Sasquatch, I promise you people are going to remember who you are in 100 years. Yeah. And that's what I wanted. Yeah. I want to leave my mark on this world, right? As narcissistic as that sounds, that's the truth.
Oh, that's honest.
So I mean, it is honest. I know what it sounds like. Oh, he's pig-headed, blah blah blah. He's just in it for the fame. Yeah. I want to be the one that makes discovery. And even now, if somebody else figures this out before I do, I am going to be disappointed.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because yes, it is a race for me, and I'm not down on anybody else. I hope y'all are the best. Yeah. But I want to be the one that does it. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? So take that as it is. But so that was my first encounter, and like I said, it changed my life, saved my life in a lot of ways. Sure. Because I know you said this is a family-friendly podcast, but sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You were not only were you good, you were starting to live the lifestyle.
Yeah. I've been living the lifestyle for a few years. Yeah. Right. And so, like, and maybe people can take this, and I hope one day that I'm not here speaking about Bigfoot. I hope I'm speaking to people about you can change your life. Right. Yeah. Okay. Because like addiction's a real thing, and I had it. Right. Mm-hmm. I don't touch liquor, beer, anything anymore.
Good for you.
Right. Yeah. Haven't for 7-8 years. Yeah. But I had an addiction problem to a few different things, and seeing that Bigfoot saved my life. Because if you see the rest of the members in my band, they're not doing good.
Not a good picture. Yeah.
No, it's not. Lost custody of children, all these things. Yes, I wonder we went dead or in jail. But that's life.
It is.
It's the way it is. People change. You can overcome, and you just have to believe in something, whether it be God or Bigfoot. Right. As silly as that sounds, I fully credit this instance to actually saving my life. Right. And I have a relationship with my kids that is amazing. Oh. You know what I mean? And all that. And my marriage fell apart because I quit everything. Yeah. not everybody in the marriage wanted to quit it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it put me on a path, and I think this is the first podcast I've ever said this stuff on. But it seriously, I fully credit Sasquatch saving my life. It got me into a spirituality because I think maybe if there is a God, he put me in that situation to have this encounter with one of his creatures, one of his creations, to then put me on the right path.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's actually beautiful. I mean, it really is.
Yeah,
What you're saying is beautiful.
what I'm hoping is one day, all this is fun, this is great, people love to hear me talk. I've had a number of people come up and tell me, hey man, I drove 8 hours to see you. Right?
Yeah.
And that's cool, man, but like I wish I could be giving you a positive message.
Yeah.
I wish I could be talking that would maybe change your life.
Right. Maybe
you know, tell you something that seriously, because you can beat it.
Yeah.
It don't get more addicted than I was. Like honestly. And you just have to get up off the couch.
Yeah.
You just have to bet on yourself.
Right.
And I needed something to help me bet on myself.
Yeah.
And it came in the form of a Sasquatch.
That's amazing. That's a beautiful story, man. And I think this may very well, people listening may just go, yeah, I can do this. I can do it. You know.
Right. I hope. You know, if it only helps one person,
Yeah.
I can die a happy man.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I know it'll touch a lot of our listeners, absolutely.
Right.
But I think that's a very, very powerful series of events that brought you to this place that now you are going around the country. You're talking to people about this. You're talking about this incredible phenomena. How big do you suppose that one that you saw was?
Probably 7.374.
Wow.
So you figure, and I base that off of a Florida State basketball player that I ran into.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was up on campus doing some Ubering. I was seeing this kid, and he was huge. And I pulled over. I was like, hey, bud, I'm sorry to bother you.
Yeah.
How tall are you?
Yeah.
It's like I'm 7 foot.
Wow.
It's like, okay, thank you.
Now you have a perspective. Of
Yeah,
he was still bigger.
Right, he was still bigger, but still broader.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's a great point too. I think for people that do have sightings, of course. Well, no, it's just probably a hunter. Well, if it's 7 feet, how many 7 feet tall people are running through the woods? You know? How many are there? I mean, right. I mean, it's just like in the nation, there's probably a handful, if that, or a couple. Right. You know, so I think that's a very powerful part in itself, because everybody that's a skeptic of this would say, well, you know, somebody just pulling pranks on you. Well, I don't know, 7'4" person out there pulling pranks in the dead of the Florida forest.
And I've got a visibly big pistol.
Right. Yeah. It's the firelight, you know, glistening, you know.
Yeah, like you're off your rocker.
Right.
You know, and so, not to get back to the spirituality thing, but...
you talk, this is your moment, man. Use it however you want.
So I make a YouTube video. Sitting in front of my camper. It's my one video on my channel, my first video on my channel. It's like a music video. It's basically just a highlight reel of what happened, no real talking. Just, I've got a Crooked Vulture song playing over the top of it, you know. Has 6 views. One of them is a producer from the Howard Stern Show.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
Right? Calls me up. Hey, I want to put you on this show. I'm trying to sell with Dr. Meldrum. So I go from having my first encounter.
Wow.
To 4 weeks later, I'm sitting in Dr. Meldrum's office for a week.
Wow.
Taking my first flight. My first time I'm traveling. I'm in now the Elvis Presley of Bigfoot's office, seeing all of his cast. Me and Meldrum are going in the mountains of Idaho looking for Bigfoot. You know what I mean? And I'm like,
we know
nobody.
We know what you mean, because that's where we live.
And then I keep diving in. I switched my job to 12 hours so I can have more time off. My dad sees how dedicated I am, how hard I'm going. So he has this boat that he built. Nice boat. I hope that one day I have the money to buy it back again. But he sells it to buy a FLIR and then do a few other things. But thermal camera was one of the things he bought. And we end up capturing the footage. Right?
Yeah.
And then so it was like, and I tell my girlfriend, she's like, you work so hard at all this, you work so hard. And I'm like, I don't really feel like it worked at all.
Right.
I just felt like I got in the coaster and buckled my seatbelt.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it just went.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, if you hear a preacher talk, they'll tell you God has a plan for you, and it won't even feel like you try. You go.
Right.
That's, I don't know if that's it, but it sure seems like it at times, because here I am today in Vernal, Utah, of all places. And I've been all over the country.
Yeah.
I'm friends with Adam Davies, all these different people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've been in all kinds of situations, and just the things that I've done, it just seems like I was just pushed in that direction.
Yeah, awesome.
You know what I mean? So it's that's why I tend to lean towards that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think you're right. I think so.
So I know people don't like to hear like, oh, talk about God and all that stuff, but you know,
I'm with you.
I have no other explanation for it. You know, and maybe it's just coincidence, but that's something I don't believe in.
Right.
Out of all the things I do believe in, I don't believe in coincidence.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
And that footage. Now, did your dad regularly investigate with you, or is that?
so he had gotten over cancer.
That's cool.
In about 6 months of surgery and stuff, and so he started going out. You know, going out with us. We had some weird encounters. One time, 2 deer just run past us, and I mean they were this close.
Oh, they were being pushed.
Wow. Yeah.
And then they stopped and turned around and came back right past us.
Right.
So like we had all these things, but my dad, I guess, you know, he had Crohn's disease, and so he wanted to hang out with his son. We were best friends.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he calls me up Tuesday. I'm working. He's like, hey, you want to go camping tonight? And I'm like, yeah, I'll go camping. Let's go, you know. Swing by the house, pick my backpack up, and then come on out here to work and get me, because I was riding with my mother-in-law at the time. And we went out there, and then that happened, and then he was done. He was done.
Yeah.
He didn't want no more. He proved it to himself.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and he wasn't on this path to prove it to the world. He didn't want nothing to do with TV, like Spike TV show, the Bigfoot Bounty.
Yeah.
You hear all these people talk about, oh, I turned that show down. Well, they wanted me, but I turned it down. The guy that was doing the screening told me the only person that turned it down was my father. Because like once they said what it was, he's like, I'm out. Right there to him, he said, hey guys, if y'all don't mind, please let Junior get time to find him one of his buddies, because I'm not doing this. It sounds incredibly stupid.
Leave it to the young guys.
Yeah, and that was it, you know. So, but yeah, he didn't do much more after that. I can honestly think of maybe 5 times we went after that before he passed away. And so since he's passed away, I haven't been back to the film site. You know, it's incredibly emotional for me. You know, so
yeah, that makes sense though. But I mean, that still, even today, remains one of the most iconic proofs of the existence of this being or creature, and it still stands up. I mean, I don't know if you saw that the guys in Australia from Australian Research caught that incredible 9-foot thermal.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Oh yeah, check it out.
Yeah, check it out.
But yours, theirs. That's 2 great examples of having proof of the existence of these things, and I think, barring somebody turning in a body, that collectively enough of this stuff could really turn the tide as far as getting a general consensus that they're out there, and yours will always be at the forefront of that, because that was the first.
Well, so the thing with the encounter, Cliff's analysis, we outsourced the recreation and all that info, because if we did it, we're biased.
Sure. Right. Yeah.
It's very important that we outsourced it. That's what my dad said.
Yep. Smart.
Because I was like, we're going to do it ourselves. He's like, hold on.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And he's like, we got to send this out. Let somebody else do it.
Yeah.
So, and then there's not only that. When my dad filmed it, I was filming him.
Oh.
I was running the handy cam. So if you watch my documentary, The Skunkape Lives, you actually see him become a believer on camera. You see that whole encounter take place.
Yeah.
Right. And it was just a perfect storm. It was also so weird. Like it had rained a little bit, so the ground was soft to where we didn't crunch a lot.
Yeah.
And the cicadas were super loud.
Right.
There was no moon.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
It was just
So it was like the perfect storm. Because that's where the film premiered at the FLIR conference. It was down there. Like, and we sat there and heard Cliff's presentation on it. And there were other FLIR thermographers that had looked at that footage and they were like, that's a real animal. We caught one more piece of footage.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell it's something big on 2 feet, but the other stuff that we've captured was the audio evidence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was the footage, and the creature is always fleeting. You know what I mean? Very hard to get a hold of, and I hate that I'm here doing this
Instead of out there doing
this, because all this noise takes away from actual research.
Right.
Sure.
There will be a time where I cut all this out.
Sure.
Because I need to put my head down.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that. I'm listening to Adam Davies talk, his expeditions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I need to just put my head down.
Yeah.
I've got movies now that I'm making because I've always been making films since I was young.
Yeah.
I was the kid that read the morning announcements. You know what I mean? I was the TV pro guy, filming the football games and everything else. That was me.
Yep.
And so I started making documentaries, and I love it. I love to edit. I love to film. I love to do all that stuff, but that also takes away.
Right. Yeah, sure it does. Sure.
You know what I mean? And I felt that I feel that I've lost my way.
Right.
I've lost my way. At this point, the rate I'm going now, to be honest with you, there's no discovery that I'm ever going to make. And that, I was laying in the hotel room last night because they don't have a ceiling fan in hotel rooms, and I like to sleep in a wind tunnel, so it's hard for me to go to sleep anyways. Right. And I'm laying there thinking about this, and I'm like, what are you doing? Go make the discovery.
Yeah.
Then come and talk to everybody.
Right.
People know who you are now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know nobody nothing.
Right.
You know, I need to get back. Because everybody that comes to my table, thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for doing, what am I doing?
I'm sitting here talking to you.
I'm sitting here talking to you about some nonsense topic, right? Which is fun and I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. But I think I was put on this path to make a discovery. I don't think I was put on this path to be sitting in Vernal, Utah.
Right.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
That's just maybe cynical.
Well, yeah, but I get what you're saying. I think you want to be out there doing the work, but I think this is also an important ingredient in the whole mix, because I think it raises awareness, and it probably helps to reset some of the nonsense when people can come out and talk to people like you and Jeff Meldrum and all of these amazing people that are here, because the Bigfoot community is still a mess. It
always will be.
And it probably will. But at least there's these bastions of level,
groundedness,
grounded, logical thought. And I'm not casting aspersions at anybody, but there's a lot of disparate information out there. Mm-hmm. And I think that having people like yourself who've been out there, you've been pursuing this, you've obviously dedicated your life to this journey. And I think that means a lot, you know. Right. So I understand what you're saying, though, because,
I don't want to be Girdle Krantz.
Yeah.
I don't want to be one of these people that looked for it forever, and they died.
Yeah.
And never got closure.
Yeah.
Right. And like I said before, God or the universe or whatever you think there is, all you got to do is get off the couch and go for it.
Right.
And my life is a testament to that, or at least well, I guess my whole life. You know what I mean? Because everything I've done, succeeded in.
Yep.
Never been a failure, except for myself. I've always brought myself down doing stupid things. It's like, why do I bang my head into the wall? It's going so great.
Yeah.
But you just have to try.
Right.
And I think if I can get back to trying at that, getting out there and beating the bush, killing the snakes, and getting bit by the mosquitoes, you know, I think I get, because like, I can't even tell you the last time, 2016, yeah, Ken. 2016 was the last time I found tracks.
Wow.
And it's just because of everything, it's got diluted.
Right. Sure.
My time's now pulled over to doing these things. Like I've done 8 of these this year.
Right.
Wow.
And this is 5 days I could have been sitting in the woods.
Sure.
Right. Well, see,
You know
but,
what I mean?
but you know, that's the whole thing, though, is it's your path. Your path led you here.
It did.
Which means that you were supposed to be here to make that revelation.
There you go.
You know, and that's exactly it. Now you know, okay, I'll finish this up, I'll get my stuff done that I've already, and I'm back out in there doing what I love to do.
Yeah, I told my
And
girlfriend today,
yeah.
I was like, hey, we're about to start going to the woods,
Right.
you know, because she'll tag along.
Right.
She don't like it, but she'll tag along. and I'll go, you know, like, hey, we got to cross this creek.
Yeah.
Well,
I can't
that's,
see the water.
Right.
I can't see in the water.
it's kind of funny because it's
Hold
naturally.
on.
Strap in, sit down, shut up, strap in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, like you said, you know these people. People know you. All you have to do is keep up your internet presence, your social media,
Right.
and people will still follow you.
Right.
You don't have to come do these things. You know, you can just post what you're finding, and then when you get what you want, that's like you said. Then that's when you do this.
Well, so looking back
Yeah.
at this trip, me and Adam Davies have been in this a very real discussion about going to Sumatra.
Right? Yeah.
And so maybe that's what comes out of this.
The orang pendek.
Yeah. The orang pendek.
You know what I
we'll talk to
mean?
him
But
about it.
like traveling across the world, I'm a person who doesn't like leave my house.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I really love staying at home.
Yep.
You know?
I'm very much the same
I
way.
get homesick, especially since my father's died. I'm extremely scared something's going to happen to everybody.
Right.
Right. Just PTSD thing, I guess, because it's like when it happened, it's just rattled me. Haven't gotten over that, but now we're talking about going to Indonesia, and it's like the talks are getting serious. They were just here a joke for a minute, and then like, all right, whoa, hold on.
Here it goes.
Planning this trip. Yeah.
I got a guy very interested in paying for all of it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what comes out of this. Because last time he went, there wasn't eDNA wasn't a thing. Like he finds these tracks.
Right.
You can test the dirt now.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I mean? If we can get a track and a soil sample with DNA in it.
Well, isn't that what Shane Corso's doing with the Olympic project over in the Oregon?
Peninsula in Oregon.
Yeah, isn't he doing?
I think
because he's finding these nests,
Right.
you know, and he's taking these samples of the nests.
Right. Well,
You know, so
with Bigfoot, like orang pendek is not considered such a
right,
taboo. Like most scientists believe that's a real creature and it one day eventually will be discovered.
right,
Bigfoot, on the other hand, they're like, this is nonsense, it's full of hoaxing. People are just, you know, keeping this around for whatever reason. It's now pop culture.
Yeah.
You see it on everybody's cars, little stickers in the back of their window and stuff. So, unfortunately, for everybody trying the Bigfoot method, you're going to need a picture and DNA. And I don't even know that a picture will do it.
right.
Like, if anything can happen, it needs to be, I don't want to kill one. But unfortunately, until they can stick their finger and check its temperature,
Yep.
they're they're not going to believe it.
Right.
You know, and like with our footage, our footage should have seriously, because they've proven other primates with just photos, like that bonobo or that chimpanzee that's like 6 foot tall.
Right.
That was proven to science with a photograph.
Right.
We have, with my dad's footage, measurable size. Dude's saying it's not CGI. FLIR thermographers, because that's where the film premiered at the FLIR conference, the FLIR World Conference in Orlando, Florida.
Yeah.
Right? And so before I even released it on the internet, it was down there. Like we got brought in. They got us a hotel and everything, and we sat there and heard Cliff's presentation on it. And there were other FLIR thermographers that had looked at that footage and they're like, "That's a real animal."
That's amazing.
And so, if you have all this,
Yeah.
like there's science to it. It's not just a piece of footage. There's actual science to it.
Yeah.
Why can't that be proved?
Right.
And it's because there's a stigma around Bigfoot. You know what I mean?
Right.
But with something like Moraine Pendak,
Sure.
you know what I mean? You could get a track and you could get some eDNA with a weird, structure, a DNA structure in it.
Mm-hmm.
And now you've got proof.
There you go. That's awesome.
You know what I mean? Or at least something to lend grant money. Like now universities or something like, okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Let's take this seriously.
Yeah. Right.
Let's throw some money because we need to make the discovery. And I want to be that guy.
Right.
That the Jacques Cousteau, the other people, because what is left to explore in this world?
The oceans and maybe some forests.
Not much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's these cryptids, it's these creatures that people are seeing.
Yeah.
That's really the only thing left to do. So
that's always been the premise of my show, is that I love that there's still mystery in the world. Because if there wasn't, this would be an incredibly mundane place to be.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's a lot going on. Now, normally in the interview, this would be the part where I say, "What's next?" But I know what's next.
Yeah, well, I kind of told you.
So it naturally went that way.
Okay, I guess what's next? I've got a new film out with my group, Outkast Paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've caught some flack about it, which I don't understand. The film's done really well. Like, you can watch Expedition Bigfoot or Ghost Adventures and then watch ours, and the production quality is the same.
Yeah.
And we had TV people all up in it. Producer from Finding Bigfoot's on the cast, you know what I mean? So it's comparable, but people don't like when you explore other avenues besides Bigfoot being an ape.
Right. Yeah.
Sure.
Right. And so I'm going to be honest with you, I know what Bigfoot is.
Yeah.
I've seen the lights. I have no idea what these things are. So if the witness tells me that Bigfoot cursed him, we're going to come up with an experiment that's outside of the box, and that's what we do in the film. So that's out on Amazon, iTunes, any of those pay-for-play streaming services. Part 2 and Part 3 will be coming out directly, by the end of the year.
What's the title of that?
The Skunkape Experiments.
Okay.
And then we'll have a film we're releasing where we went to Nebraska to the Omaha Reservation.
Oh.
They allowed us in to make a film.
Fantastic.
And that's Bigfoot. That's also like ghosts and stuff, because the reservation has all these things.
Sure.
All these old Indian tales that exploring all of them. And then somewhere around January, February, we'll release our film where we went to the Conjuring House.
Oh, wow.
And
nice.
we did... The Nazis in World War II had this experiment that they did where they would astral project and view the Allied forces.
Right.
In the 60s, the CIA did it. It's called the Gateway Project.
Stargate.
It's been declassified. You pull the documents, it's like 26 pages.
Yep, Stargate Project, yep.
They say that there's a place called the Absolute that you go to. That we live in an energy hologram. You know what I mean? And all religions are right, and all this other stuff CIA said, because they did it for a while.
Yeah.
So we had a guy rebuild it.
Wow.
And we did it in the Conjuring House.
Oh.
I tell you, I can't spoil it for you. But that, when you're talking about things that alter the course of your life, I'm so much more calm now.
Right?
Yeah.
The absolute, I clicked out. I went.
Did you?
And it's a audio frequency that you listen to for like 47 minutes, and like the position that you're laying in, it's a pentagram, but it's a SEPA symbol. So the SEPA symbol's been throughout since the Sumerians and all that. They didn't call it a pentagram. It wasn't viewed as that. It was viewed as a portal to go to the next world. And a lot of the Egyptian tombs, they're on the walls. So and they use gematria to see like your name and like which seat you line up with. And like there were some members of our group, it's like, hey, you don't line up at all, you can't be in the experiment.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's really something else, but 3 of us were able to click out. And so how do you prove a personal experience?
Sure.
Right? You exit interview everybody. We made them stay at their seats, and then once you were called, you come up and told on camera what happened to you.
Mm-hmm.
When your 3 stories line up.
Right. Yeah, that's powerful.
That. And then, like, so after we do this, right, the house goes insane.
Oh.
The
Really?
house goes nuts. Oh. So I'm just telling you, there was a rule sheet when you came into the Conjuring house. We broke every single one. Corey was selling the place.
Right.
He had actually sold it already. And so, like...
His last time's in there. He's like, I'll screw the next one.
Yeah. He's like, whatever, y'all come and do. Let's actually take the gloves off, see what we can do.
Right.
And so... Like he opened his big mouth. I love Corey to death. He opened his big mouth and said, "It's not the house that's haunted. It's the land. Y'all should build a coffin and bury me." I'm like, "Don't say that to me. I'll do it." And he's like, "If you do it, or if you build that coffin and dig that hole, I'll get in it."
Wow.
And we're like, "All right." So we did Nestis method.
Oh, you're kidding! Wow.
With him in the ground, RPG in the well. And us in the library asking the questions. They couldn't hear our questions, but we got the audio hooked up. You know, we got professional audio, so we're listening to everything in the library. First, only RPG's asking questions, or answering questions. Corey's in and out. And then they start talking to each other.
Oh,
really?
And then there's a bright light that flashes.
Oh,
I shouldn't have spoiled that. But anyways...
we'll take that part out.
No, you can leave it. It's cool. Like, they have to see it.
Right.
You know what I mean? You really had to see it.
Right.
And the light flashes and everything stops.
Wow.
But we've got furniture moving, doors opening up and slamming.
That's incredible.
Insane.
Yeah.
Good.
We brought Carl Johnson in. He was the first investigator there. And we asked him to do a seance. We wanted to, recreate the original Warren seance, and we did. And so I'll leave that at that. But it comes to a point where it's like, is anybody even going to believe this?
Right.
Like, are they going to believe this happened?
Sure.
Like, this may be career suicide putting this out here because it's so much to take in. Like, all that happened to you, yeah, right.
Well, you got it on film.
I got it on film.
Yeah. Wow. Phenomenal, brother.
A lot of people in on the hoax if it's all a hoax.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was like 15, 20 people. There were people that were just there observing.
Right.
Oh,
You know what I mean? And then the worst part about it is, like, a lot of the members of the group's lives have went, rock bottom.
Right.
Houses burning down.
Wow.
Oh, the hitchhiker
People
effect.
passing away.
Yeah, the
Stuff
hitchhiker.
like that.
You've heard of the hitchhiker effect?
Not at all.
Okay, so it's a concept that's basically says when one person has a paranormal experience, they can get a hitchhiker effect that then when they go to their, back to their own lives, it can follow. And it seems like that's what you're explaining right now.
Should have took the rocks. I didn't take a rock.
Yeah.
I'm good for the most part.
Right.
But the others took rocks.
Yeah.
Bring things home.
Yeah, and Corey Warren don't take the rocks.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they'll be getting those rocks mailed back soon.
Yeah, it's like taking pictures of Robert the doll.
Yeah.
And not asking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Same kind of concept.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
So
Crazy. Wow.
This has been a great discussion. Thank you, brother, for making
no,
this.
I appreciate y'all having me on, dude.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us here on tonight's show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please feel free to follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Paranormal Portal Radio, as well as finding us on Twitter. We're on Twitter at Paranormal Portal, PORTL, and we'd love to have you stop by our YouTube page and subscribe and check out our shows there. We got hundreds of shows, Journeys into the Paranormal Portal, so I hope you'll check it out, guys. We're over there at youtube.com/Paranormal Portal, so hope to see you guys soon. We'll be back, of course, for more podcasts in the coming days. So we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh as much as you can.